day to you viewers, the Colonel speaking to you live from the Witney 2015 gathering, and we're going to go through, the Squire's here, we're going to go through the machines with you. Good morning, Squire.
Good morning, everybody.
What is that round your neck? Was that the award you got from Tywin Lannister?
No, this is the Witney Model Club.
Oh, I see.
Membership. Well, I wear it to chairman of the Witney Model and Collectors Club, so we all have these for attending various shows in the past.
That's very good, isn't it? How wonderful. Well, let's start with the first machine. This is delightful. Where did you get this?
Well, I bought this recently in an auction. Now, this is a German instrument. It's a Vox.
Yes.
You sometimes see Vox records, which aren't very common.
No, not in the UK at least.
This is a Vox gramophone, and the unusual thing about it is the tone arm and sound box are made out of wood, and so is the tone arm mounting. And if you look at it, you'll see it's got fretwork all around it.
There we are, viewers.
And the idea of that is the sound actually plays out of all four sides. It's got a specially designed conduit inside, and the sound spreads out.
I understood it was to be, things like that were to be put on a centre table and people could dance around them, but that seems a little...
That's probably it, yes,
yeah. Extraordinary. And this is an extraordinary machine. This is one of mine, viewers. You'll know it, viewers. It's the Mark... no, it's not a Mark at all, is it? It's a Pathé phone number Dece, I think it is, a 10 or an 8 or something like that. You know, I'm a real expert, viewers, but you have seen that one before. This is a delightful machine.
Well, now, this is a... Well, to first glance, I think most people would think, well, it's a fairly standard His Master's Voice Model 109 table gramophone. But the thing is, it's come back from New Zealand, and it's been done with this wonderful Maori carving on it all round.
It's absolutely fantastic.
And on the inside of the lid as well.
Yes, and it was retailed by Miss McDermott of Rotorua, where the Maori carving schools are, aren't they?
Yes, that's right. It is rumoured to be, it could be, a royal presentation piece.
I've certainly seen something, an old newspaper cutting, that would suggest that, certainly.
But I haven't been able to positively confirm that yet. So
not as yet.
That's a bit tenuous, but it's possible. Well, the next one is another recent acquisition. This is the Peter Pan portable, which is in a teak case.
I haven't seen another, I have to tell you.
Now I'll assemble it while we're...
It looks like a tropical camera.
It does. I'll just assemble it while we're talking.
That's fine. We have got all day, haven't we, viewers? People like to see how these things fit together because they're very ingenious.
Very much so. Incredible amount of work and design in something like that.
Well, they're very clever because they're built around a full-size motor, and they've got surprisingly loud sound to them, really.
And there's another one here.
Ah, yes.
This is another miniature one. Now, most people know a Mickey phone gramophone as being a Swiss-made machine in a round, made into like a round tin, about 4.5 inches in diameter.
A bit like a giant pocket watch.
That's right. This is a Japanese one. This is a Mickey phone, but it's spelt with a Y in the middle and not an I. And they've got the sound box there.
It does look in super condition.
And that's the
oh, that's the support, is it?
That's right.
The horn.
And this is the horn. It looks, to all intents and purposes, like a miniature 101.
It does actually, yes,
horn,
yes indeed.
And that goes on here.
How clever.
It fits on here. And the sound box goes on the end, hopefully. There we are, that's that, and that folds back as a support.
I see.
And there's another one there. There's the handle that goes in there.
You almost need a degree in some sort of engineering to put these things together.
That's right. And that's a very recent, I've just bought that one very recently.
Oh, fantastic
I have
thing.
got another one which isn't complete, which was given to me by the son of the original owner. But that's got to be restored. I really bought this one just to see what bits I needed to get to put and what they look like to get the other one put right.
I see, yes, of course. Right, well we know this monster here, this fantastic machine. I believe people call this a Thorin's Royal Bass, but that is a G&T, Continental G&T horn, isn't it?
Oh yes, indeed.
Monstrous thing. I have to stand a long way back, viewers, to actually get it in the picture.
If you can show down on
Oh,
the
there's
ground,
the travelling
there's
case
the travelling
for it.
case
Yes.
for it.
Yes, that's all original, isn't it?
It's got some packing inside.
Yes, it's all felt lined and that.
It is, yes.
It's not just some old trunk someone's
no,
found. It is the
it's
proper
real
thing.
McCoy for
Yes,
it.
and this is a delightful looking machine.
Well, this is a colonial Columbia. I mean, one sees the model, was it the 113?
113, yeah, yes, one across the room there, I
which
think.
is fairly common,
Yes.
but this is a much more unusual colonial
It
version.
certainly is.
And
Let's see if we can get the plaque in there. Graphanola, yes, model 221. In fact, I think this featured in one of our videos for
I'm
your
sure
collection,
it did.
yes.
I'm sure it did, yes.
The green outer case, isn't it? Mottled green. And
That's right.
is it double sprung?
It is double
It is.
sprung, and it's got the needle container on the side like an
Yes.
HMV, really.
Yes, how interesting. Here we have a wonderful tabletop model 460 Lumiere.
That's right.
Wonderful. Seem to be a lot of those about at the moment. Making stupid money, unfortunately.
Yes.
This one comes from, would you believe it? Sir, it comes from Limerick. But we
Amazing.
won't hold that against
No,
it. It's
no,
perfectly
no.
genuine.
No, it's a nice.
It's not made of bog oak, is it? No, it's mahogany.
It's a real McCoy.
It is a wonderful thing. It's got a great sound, as we'll hear later. Well, a couple of interesting machines for the colonial people.
Well, this is the 114. This has got the original, the owner's name painted on the side of it.
Oh yes, the Colonel. Not myself, yours. Lieutenant Colonel P.I. Franks, care of Grindley's Bank. Sounds like something out of Harry Potter, doesn't
does,
it?
doesn't it?
54 Parliament Street, London, SW1. Extraordinary.
That's a really interesting one. One doesn't see colonial versions in this country very often. It's a big version of the 102, but with an extended horn
Yes.
and with a number 32 double spring motor.
Of course, making it not exactly light.
No, and this one is a similar, slightly earlier one. This is a bigger version of the 101 portable, also with a slightly bigger horn to fit in there.
Yes.
And the number 32 double spring motor.
Oh, that's got a 32 motor as well, yes, of
That's
course.
right, yes.
And the strange thing is it has gilt outer fittings on this one.
Yes, yes, that's right. It's a kind of dull copper, isn't it, or something like that?
It's certainly gold plated
Yeah,
because, of
something.
course, the idea is it won't corrode.
That's right. They're the usual needle fitting in the side, HMV style. There again, as far as I know, these were never sold in this country. These were
don't believe
the
so.
ones that are here are ones that people brought back from India.
And I
places
think,
like that.
I have seen a lot of these Rexine, quite a few of these Rexine covered machines. I think these were the real Rolls-Royce ones. Top people ordered them. They were not sort of standard colonial models. They were, top of the range.
Well, the point is, over here you'd have had a big double spring motor like the 32 and a table model like the 109.
Yeah, or the Model 130
That's right.
or something like that.
But there again, in India, they built them into portables.
Yeah.
Possibly because I suppose there was a different requirement over there to here.
Well,
there were plenty of.
They were
plenty of
top people. They didn't like wine. Well, they might have had a winder-waller, I suppose, mightn't they? Or if it was me, a winder-wally.
But this one is a homemade one.
Yes.
I mean, you've seen a lot of these before in other videos, but this is a homemade one. This is quite an honest. It's an honest machine. It is what it is. I made it out of spare parts that I had in the workshop.
Yeah, no machines were destroyed to make it.
Absolutely. I had a spare motor. The horn's quite genuine and a spare one. It could all be taken off and used on something else if required. But I wanted to I'd always hoped to get a trademark model, but the money's just too much really, far too expensive. So
I have
thought
to
I'd
tell
find
you,
something like it.
I don't trust all these trademarks that are out there. I don't like them a bit. They're 110, 15 and more years old now, and they've had plenty of chance to be mucked about with, apart from all those ones that were in shop windows.
Exactly.
Where did all they go to?
Well,
There's plenty of them
exactly.
about. I'm very, very suspicious. I think there was a little man at Hayes knocking them out.
Well, let's be honest, I mean, any HMV dealer had one in his shop.
And certainly the
somewhere,
grand ones, yeah.
Absolutely. The next is an interesting combination. This is a First World War vintage trench decker portable. I do know that one's been through the First World War. And this came in completely separately, and it appears to be a box they made in France to keep their regimental records in, or something like that. So it's a nice box.
And you've got some really, oh yes, there we go.
They're made out of margarine
crepe.
Falcon margarine crepe.
Margarine crates.
Sort of a coat of army green walloped over the top. So.
Well, that's it. I imagine an officer said, "You know, we've got this batch of records in. We need somewhere to keep them, keep the dust off and the mud, don't you know?"
That's what happened. They didn't come in together, but I
no, but they go well together, don't they? They're
together.
period. And these are large pathés, are 14-inch pathés. Is that your 20-inch pathé?
No.
Oh no.
No, these are. This is a MGM record of film music.
Right.
Now these are for professional purposes.
Lateral cut.
Yeah, they did some like this vertical. These are done in vinyl. They're 33 1/3, like an LP.
What sort of date would they be?
I would think late 40s, early 50s.
For radio programmes, that sort of thing?
I don't know. It says international broadcast music. I mean, they may have made it in the filmmaking process. I don't know.
Oh well, yes, of course.
And this one is another interesting big record. This is another 16-inch diameter disc. Now again, it's Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer,
yes.
pressed by the Gramophone Company.
Extraordinary.
But this is much earlier. This is about 1927, 28.
Right, single-sided.
Single-sided. And this is a sound disc for one of the original sound-on-disc talking films. Right. Because in the early days of talking films, well, they had two systems coming up at the same time, really. I mean, Fox had got his phonofilm system, which was sound on film, and Vitaphone, Warner Brothers came up with Vitaphone, and Vitaphone used to sound the discs. So, I mean, it's normally said that the first talking film was The Jazz Singer with Al Jolson in 1927, I think it was. Yes. But there were a lot of experimenting going on, and you can actually see sound films even earlier than that on phonofilm, which is of sound on film with Fox. You can see them on the internet somewhere. And
there were very early attempts, like the Hepworth singing picture about 1912, where they actually took a commercial record and filmed an actor miming to it.
Exactly, yes indeed.
Which was quite clever really, but obviously didn't take on. What have we got here, Nigel?
Well, now there's another Colonial portable, that blue one. I'll go around the other side to get nearer to it. This is another Colonial. This is a version. This was one where the horn comes round and is cut off about here. Yes. With a reflector at the back, a bit like a big version of the HMV 97 or something like that. Yes. But that's an Odeon Model 17. Columbia is just a restyled Columbia soundbox. Yes. Double spring motor, superb quality. I've seen other gramophones, but I haven't seen that exact version.
Number 17, it says there.
That's it.
Right.
Yeah. Now the next one, this is a real curiosity.
This is a peculiar one.
Now this is this the first version, Robert's best tone?
No, it's a JHO machine. It's called JHO portable gramophone made by JH Offen of Red Hill, Surrey, retailed at Wallace's, and you've actually got a record sleeve there from the same firm.
Well, the interesting thing is it's got two horns.
Yes, indeed.
One above the other.
But no cover over them at all.
No, indeed, that's the side that goes down to the ground. You've got a place for needles there. I'll just pop the sleeve out.
Yes, it's quite a 12-inch turntable.
It is. And of course you've got the lid that very strangely opens on the corner like that.
Extraordinary.
Which is very, very, very unusual.
Now I think Bestone bought up the patents for that, and they created this, which is your next machine.
And that is a Bestone. Yeah. But that's unlike most of the one-seat, it's twin horn.
It's the Bestone stereophone, they called it. Or stereotone, something like that. How very interesting, in lovely condition too.
There again, those are two machines. Those are two machines well, that's a row of three machines I've never seen another example of, and certainly you can either have one or both horns working. And it's like the Bestone in the sense you put the record on and close the lid down, then you've got the the sound goes up into the horn.
Yes, and it looks like a best tone arm, but it actually, you know, that it goes straight through. It doesn't end there.
No,
it goes right down to
that's right.
through to the other horn. But that's interesting. And all your needle tins.
My collection of needle tins, or some
wonderful stuff.
I mean, people can get huge collections of needle tins. I've got so many. I don't really add much to them. This is just a selection.
I've forgotten where mine are. I think they're still packed up.
Selection of cylinders.
And you're 2 and 4 minutes home.
This is the home phonograph.
It's a big sound reproducer.
Yes, it's a model. It's a Model R 4-minute. The 2-minute one's a bit shaky at the moment, so I brought the Model R out. Yes, it's one with 2-speed gearing for 2 or 4-minute cylinders. The horn is a later addition. It's one that people would have bought to improve the sound. I mean, normally they'd have had the normal brass and short.
Yes.
The stand is another homemade item. We didn't have a stand for it, so I modified a very dodgy old music stand. I think it does reasonably.
Well, it does the trick. It's holding the horn up. That's the idea, isn't it? Well, if we then go on to some of mine and some of your machines here, this one is the Selector Deluxe machine. Rather nice one. What date would that be? 1930?
I would think so. 2930.
2930. And then we go on to this one, as we've seen in other videos of mine, the 114 I bought recently. And then we've got this one, which is a very peculiar machine, which is a bell toner. It's about 1914. It's a funny little machine. It's got an accessory drawer on the side, although quite what it's for, really, I don't know, because you're going to get a handle and a sound box, perhaps, and a needle tin. But again, it works on the reflecting principle, but you've got a wooden reflector reflecting into the back of the case. This is one of yours, Nigel, the acoustograph.
Yes. Now this is a machine to make your own records on.
Yes.
Now this is a recent acquisition. I haven't been able to do much research into it. Well, what you've actually got is this device here, which goes round with a turntable, and there's a feed screw, and then you've got various attachments. You've got a recording head, and you've got an electric head as well, so you can record electrically or acoustically.
And a very light sound box for replaying the recordings.
That's
presumably,
right.
What would the recordings be made on? Sort of.
I would think so. It would be some kind of acetate some kind of acetate.
Like a perma-rec or something like that.
I don't know exactly. I mean, I haven't been able to do much research into that one yet, but it's a very, very interesting.
And you could record your own voice. All the equipment's in this.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
In this tube here, as I recall. Sort of the recording horn and that. We won't worry too much about it now. It's all a bit technical.
Yeah.
And then we go on to my 113A, which the Squire described recently as common.
Well, they're not that. I mean, they're certainly not.
They're more common. You certainly haven't seen another one of the colonial models, but these do turn up. This is the nicest one I found. It wasn't terribly expensive, but they are awfully heavy. They're based on the American design, aren't they?
Yes. Well, a lot of the American ones have an absolutely enormous single spring motor. I think it's a Heinemann motor. I think it's a Heinemann.
Is that a big spring Garrard, isn't it?
That's double sprung.
Is it double sprung?
Double sprung Garrard.
I haven't checked, viewers. Oh dear. Then my Teak 101, an old friend of mine there. There we go. Retailed by Rose and Company of Fort Bombay, out in India, spelt with an H. And then we go on to my Expert Senior, we know that, or slightly bigger than Expert. I didn't bring a tape measure, so we could record it. It's 29.5 inches across the bell. And this one's one of yours. Now, you're not going to believe this, viewers, but we will make a video later. This machine here of the Squire's got accidentally put down next to it. It's a duo Sona. It's got a wooden tone arm right the way through wooden horn, and you won't believe this, but I will demonstrate it to you later. That machine was louder than that one. No, it doesn't seem possible, but it was.
Well, it's an amazing thing. There we are. So it's one basically just a little bit like the Vox in the sense you've got a wooden tone arm, metal sound box on this one, wooden horn. And they did portables as well, didn't they?
They did
and
indeed.
And a cabinet one, I think.
And a cabinet one, yes. Yeah. All on the same sort of design, wooden horns and that. Yeah. But, you know, people won't believe me, but that is louder than that. We will do another video later. To finish up, Nigel, since that's our last video, would you care to play us a cylinder on your phonograph?
Yes, of course.
I'll stand at the end here.
Well, this is one of the new cylinders that's come. One of the modern cylinders that's come.
Humbug.
And it's, what do they call it? I I'd rather two-step than waltz, Bill Medley. It's a good cylinder, isn't this one?
Is it, there we go. Well, that was fantastic, Nigel.
It does sound good in this hall, doesn't it?
It does indeed. Have you got any other interesting cylinders there?
Yes, I've got some old ones here. We'll play some more later on.
Yes, indeed.
And the selection, I have got one or two brown wax ones with me.
Ada Jones, Waiting at the Church. Tickle Me Timothy. Au revoir, my little hyacinth.
Harry Lauder.
Espana Waltz by Waldteufel, yes.
I mean, some of them aren't in the best of condition. It's like typical of old cylinders. Then I've got a George Roby cylinder there as well.
Oh, fabulous.
So there's some really. There's a Harry Champion one somewhere. I can't see where.
Violin solo.
Is it there or not? Oh, it's Billy Williams.
William Tell overture.
Two Harry Lauders.
Alan Turner, The Heart Bowed Down from the Bohemian Guild. Morris Dance.
Maybe the Harry Champion one didn't get put into these boxes, but never mind.
The Camp March Band. Henry F. Scott. They look rather interesting cylinders. What are they? Oh, they're Columbia's. That's just the retailer, is it?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh no, I'm not. What is that? What is that one?
Henry Scott is the retailer in Leeds. Is it brown wax?
It's a brown wax.
It is.
It's a brown wax. Oh, is it?
It looks very brown from here, Nigel.
It does, doesn't it?
Yes. They all look. What's that song? They all look alike to me.
No, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it's a brown wax one.
It can be a brown wax.
Friendliness Blues, A Christmas Ghost Story. I think we know how that ends with the cat. Advertising record. Mr. Black. Cakewalk. We can't say that one.
Why not?
Because we got in trouble last time.
It is what it is.
Yes, well, that's true. You can't. This is the trouble. People want to rewrite history. Wild Cherries, Ragtime Song. That sounds jolly good. Fun in a barber shop. I don't have much fun these days. My Blue Heaven. Ain't She Sweet? There's some jolly good cylinders here, Nigel. Well, viewers, the Peacock Crag. Well, that was wonderful. That's the introduction to the machines, records and cylinders that will be played. Hopefully you've enjoyed that. As you see, we put on quite a show, and that's only between the two of us. And this is by no means all the stuff we could get in here if we wished. Thank you, viewers. Look out for more of the videos. Thank you and goodbye.